C with Laura B. And I am here with the challenge from Tommy over at Paper Crafting with Tommy. And it is Think Outside the Box Challenge. Hashtag Think Outside the Box Challenge. And I will have her channel linked below along with Rhoda Burks and Kyung Shotwell and Candace Johnson by Journal Me Crazy by Candace Johnson, if I said that correctly. Anyway, good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. So Rhoda, this week was Rhoda's challenge, started yesterday, and her turn anyway, and she chose medium foil with the stipulation that we just couldn't leave it flat, you know, just roll it out flat. We had to do something else with it. And here is what I have chosen to do. I'm going to move that foil and my 2 strips that I have left. And I went ahead and made flowers. See, here they are. So I've done 4 already. What I'm going to do is I have this little teeny tiny envelope from the Botanicals Proteus by Janie B. Journals. And I'd already printed this out, so I didn't have to use anything else. Didn't print anything for it. I also had this garden wire, floral wire, I think it's called. And then my paints. So I'm using metallics. Of course, it's me. But for another reason too is I don't like the way the mats look on the stems, the trumpet part. So I painted it with the matte, and then I went over it with the peacock pearl because that's the only greenish a metallic paint that I have. So I want to make this, try to make this a short video, or as short as I can make them. Oops. So, all right, without further ado, this is what I did. So I just took the foil, the regular length of the roll. And then I used, where'd my other paintbrush go? There it is. Nope, that's not it. Oh, it's in the water. All right. So I have discovered that it doesn't really matter which side I face outward. And then I just start rolling it. Make sure that you all can see. Yep. All right. And I'm in frame, so I just roll it. And you do kind of want to roll it a little bit straight, you know. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but it just makes it easier to, at that point, roll. You know, at my next step, which I'll show you in just a moment. So you just roll it up, and it depends on what size you want. This little, one of these little ones, I made it, I didn't use the full length. Actually, I might have tossed that one because it just didn't work. Yeah, I did toss that one. So it seemed to me to work the best if you use the full length. However long that is, 12 inches. I didn't measure. Well, let's measure now. Yep, right about 12 inches. So what you're going to do is roll it up tight. And I haven't asked how y'all are doing today. I hope you're doing well. It is Easter Sunday, and for those who celebrate, a very happy Easter to you. If you're, no matter what you do, if you're with friends, family, or if you're spending the day blessedly by yourself like I am. My housemate is off on vacation until tomorrow, and I am enjoying my last solo day. I've got a lot of things done that I needed to do while he was out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make slits down here. And obviously, the longer you make your cut and the wider you make your cut, the bigger the petals will be. So I'm just going to snip down to that last one and try to make them fairly narrow. Oh, I don't know why I'm sleepy. I got adequate sleep last night. I'm on a kick where I just can't stay asleep past 5 a.m. no matter what time I go to bed. So, all right. And at this point, you're just going to bend them gently back, as gently as you can, till you get the flower shape and petal shape you're wanting. Now, it is pretty fragile and a little bit fiddly at this point, so it is difficult to spread these petals far apart without ripping and tearing, and you will, and it's okay. So, yes, it's a long trumpeted flower. And since I no longer have fingernails to pinch this bottom part, and I keep reminding myself, I gotta remind myself, I don't want it too tight because I'm gonna want to get this floral wire up in there. Up in here, up in here. All right, so there's that one. And then what I do is I only have clear texture gesso, and I didn't want to use what little gel matte medium that I had in clear. So I'm using the texture gesso, plus I think it gives it a little bit, the paint a little bit more of a surface to catch on to. I could be completely wrong about that. I don't know. I'm sure other people, I know other people know far well better than I do about this stuff. Okay, so tweezers it is. Oh, it's a nice rainy Easter. So thankfully I don't have small children that want to be out Easter egg hunting, or, you know, like my next door neighbor. I was talking to the male half of the couple, and, you know, tomorrow's Easter, we're talking about Easter and everything, and he's like, yeah, he grumbled a little bit. He's like, yeah, it's gonna rain all day, so we're all gonna be stuck inside. You know, yeah, we have people coming over. They've got at least 2 grandkids at this point. So I'm just trying to get in on all those, and then come up here and get the inside. You really want to get this as well covered as possible. So I'm still gonna go Easter egg hunting with my dog Isabeau, who, she was just naughty a few minutes ago, about a half an hour ago. Joe has a housekeeper that comes in once a month, and I just can't keep up on this big house by myself, his and mine, you know. So anyway, and my dog is she's a bulldog. She's a bully breed. She's exuberant, to say the least. And of course, I went down there when I heard the doorbell without shutting the door behind me. And of course, here comes my dog Isabeau. And she had to jump up. She would not listen. I even had hold of her back legs at one point, trying to get her to leave this poor woman alone. You know, because not everybody appreciates being jumped on like that. I don't appreciate being jumped on, because I tell you, she can knock you on your butt before you even know she hit you. It's happened to me before where it was like this slight brush against my leg that I barely felt, and I was on my butt on the deck. Excuse me. Coffee. So anyway, but she did listen when I was like, B-E-D. With the, you know, N-A-U-G-H-T-D-O-G added to it. So, which she did listen right away to that. But anyway, I got some plastic eggs from the neighbor. And so after the housekeeper leaves, I'm going to fill them with treats and throw them throughout the house. So, anyway, again, wrap wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap. Again, you can make this as long. You can use a bigger round. I just seem to like this one better because I didn't like how this one turned out. I didn't like the size of it. So again, you do you whatever purposes you may or may not try this idea. It's up to you what size you want it. So then I'm going to cut down a little bit, try to cut down. It seems to me that I like it better the further down I cut it. I'm using these nice new scissors, which are probably not going to be new after using them like this. Oops. And like I said, depending on how big you want your petals and how much you want them to lay down. Come on. There we go. I'm concentrating. So I don't know if anyone is joining in on this challenge. If you do, again, all you have to do is post it on whatever social media. I have Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. I have a Facebook group. Tommy has a Facebook group. Rhoda has a Facebook group. Candace has a Facebook group. I don't believe Keong has one. Not that I'm aware of. So just include the hashtag Think Outside the Box Challenge. Again, if you want to spread your little petals, you do need to be mindful that they are really tender. Gently. Be gentle with the baby. But you will tear it. You will have little bits of foil everywhere. All right. So paint this really well with this texture gesso. Whatever you want to use. Whatever works. I just grabbed this, looked at what I had and was like, no, I think this, I really dislike Mod Podge. I dislike how it gets gloopy. I dislike how gets everywhere. Seemingly everywhere but where you want it. Now I'm trying to get as many individual petals as I can. So if you are, you don't have to be outside the U.S., but, if you do celebrate Easter, what are your traditions that you keep alive? I'm a single lady. My child is grown and gone. So I don't have I never had any real plans. All right, I think I've gotten them. It's pretty much as good as those petals are going to get. Again, this is just my idea of how to get it to grab to the foil. And like I said, I have not noticed a difference whether I do it on the shiny side or the dull side. Or the less shiny side. Because let's face it, they're both shiny on camera. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. All right, so we're going to let that dry. And while we are letting those two dry for a hot second, I am going to attempt to shove these bad boys in here. And I left the stems long on purpose. So I knew what I had a chance to kind of play around with placement. I also have discovered that hot glue gun is the best on attaching the floral wire inside the flowers. Well, I say it's the best. It's, in my opinion, what I knew for sure would grab onto both metals. So if you have a glue gun, this is a low temp. I've had it for a long time. Okay, maybe not a long time, about 4 years. And that, otherwise, they just kept coming out. Every time I tried to mess with them, they'd fall out. And it was vexing me greatly. So there's another one. And we'll leave these bigger ones in the back. But we're probably still going to have to cut it down. Because like a doofus, I went ahead and, look at that, used stick glue on the entire inside of this little tiny envelope. Like I said, I sized that envelope way down from what it was. And I will do the gluing in of all of this at the end. Oh, hang on just a moment. Okay, sorry about that. The fire alarm went off and I went out to see what it was, but by the time I got to the door, it already shut off. That's the third time that fire alarm's gone off today. The first time I was cooking. And, well, we don't have a, see what happens? I have had to poke these with a needle to try to get them, this foil part to open, which is why I stopped there. Trying not to, trying not to get it too tight on the bottom until I get these placed how I want them. And since it is low temp, it's less easy, I shall say, less easy to burn the tips of your fingers. But trust me, anytime you're working with hot glue, it can be done. And you will burn yourself. It's just a matter of time. Well, I mean, maybe you won't. And if you don't, well, how do you do it? And let me know. I mean, a lot of people use a little acrylic. There, see? Look at that. Now, these aren't going to be completely dry. But I don't want to use my heat gun. That's what I'm trying to say. Heat gun, heating tool, whatever you want to call it. Squish it down a little bit. Obviously, this is going to add bulk to your journal. But you know what? As an embellishment, I mean, you could even make this into a paperclip very, very easily. Which I may do. You never know. So, I'm going to start. Where's my, hot flash. Oh man, sorry for the noise of the fan, but I just cannot regulate my body temperature for the last few days. I'm either hot or cold, hot or cold. There is no real in between for very long. And like I said, these tend to be a little bit fiddly. So, obviously it's a junk journal. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I would like, the green where the green is. I want the green. And the color where I want the other color as much as possible. Okay, that doesn't need to be. So I get up underneath there. Try to make it as most like a flower as I can. Again, it's a junk journal, so I suppose it doesn't really matter, but, I think they look a lot like a Dr. Seuss picture anyway, which has always kind of creeped me out. I find there's something very creepy about Dr. Seuss illustrations. I don't know what it is. I've always felt that way. I know, I'm an easily creeped out person. Oh well. It is what it is. We are who we are. So, get off of me. Get off of me. And when I do the green, the metallic over it, I tend to do it when it's wet because I like how the effect that it gives it more than if I wait till it dries. else was I going to say? I was going to say something. Trying to keep my face out of view, or my hair, or whatever. There. Alright, so on to this peacock pearl. Now, you are, obviously, it's your project. If you choose to do this, you do it, you do you. It's funny, you do you, boo. I hear a lot in the junk journal, in some people in the junk journal saying, oh yeah, as Timmy says, Tim Holt says. And the funny thing is, I heard that phrase years, and I know years before Tim Holtz was a huge YouTube thing. Well, maybe not years. No, it could have been. I don't know when he burst onto the scene, because I'm, you know, I've only been doing this a couple of years. But it was decidedly not by Tim Holtz. And decidedly not for artistic purposes. But anyway. And like I said, not going to use a heat gun on this because, well, it's metal. So sometimes I hold it in front of the fan. But most of the time I just pinch and keep on working. It is not, you don't have to do anything a certain way. Here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to see if I can do, so I go into the middle, try to find the middle. And sometimes you need a little help finding it. That's okay. Come on. There. So I go around the middle. On this one, I'm just going to go, because I'm going to do the rose gold. Yep. You heard me. Yep. I got to do the rose gold. In the middle. So where the flowers are the darkest, I guess. I've never really paid that much attention. And then, actually just put that down like that. Take my rose gold. And then I'm going to go around the edges. And I should have done this before I did the stem, but I wasn't thinking. Just keep going as much as you want, as little as you want. You don't even have to paint it. If you like just the tin foil looking up at the color, do that. You know, again, it's your project. It's your creative ideas, your outlet. You do what the vision in your head is saying it needs to look like. There's a room at the table for everyone. Probably can hear my baby chickies in there. They're doing wonderfully, growing by leaps and bounds. I am going to take them out of the bin tomorrow, and I have them in that dog crate, if you've seen the videos. And that way they have more room, because, you know, there's only 4, but that's not the biggest bin out there. So they're going to need more room here in a minute. And it's funny, this is the first time I've had baby chicks, and I would have thought they would have been a lot bigger by now. But there, see? All right, we'll set that one aside. They all have been named now. We have Gizmo, whom you guys have, you know, it was the first, she was the first named, because she looked like Gizmo. And then Joe named Francine, the blue Americana, he named her Francine. And then my friend Jennifer came up with Nugget, as in chicken nugget, and I thought that was funny. So we've got a Nugget, and the last one is my absolute hands down favorite, Chick Jagger. I know, Chick Jagger. Chick Jagger. So yeah, we've got a Chick Jagger. So, all right. I'm going to use this to go right down the middle. Kind of make sure I know where the middle's at. Okay, I'm going to use this color. Actually, no, I'm going to do it this way. I know. Decisions. Payday. So, what's the weather like where you're at? Like I said earlier, it's going to rain today. It's supposed to rain. Well, there's a 100% chance. There's 80% chance today, 100% chance. I love how they say that, 100% chance of rain. I look out my window, it's raining. I'd say the chances are pretty much dang near 100%, don't you think? I just gotta, you gotta tease more weathermen. Meteorologists are like the most reviled of all the newscasters. Can you get it right? Well, no, because the weather changes all the time. That's because it's weather. That's what it does. You can't fault the weather for being the weather, especially if you live in a region where it changes a lot. Now, I am in a mild climate. It is a mild climate here in Washington, where I live. But still. And I do try to get underneath the petals. Yeah, I know. I use all the wrong tools for the wrong things. But you know what? I can clean those. All right. Do a quick wash with that. And then into this one. Because I want it right down in the middle. Here. It's a nice thing about glass mats. All right. So the petals be done on that one as much as I want them. Tap my paints before I have a huge oops, which trust me, I will. There's no guarantee that I won't before I'm done. Tweezers. So again, I'm going to go in with, first of all, I want to, sometimes I have the hardest time remembering which way these tweezers go. Come on, up. I guess it really doesn't matter. I'm just being extra persnickety. I do want to make sure I get up under here because, again, like I said, I want it to make it look as much like a real flower as I can from these Dr. Seuss looking metal contraptions I've made. There we go. And it depends on, yes, I have a towel in my lap. That's what I keep wiping this on. I'm not wiping it on my pants. Although I have to show you a funny thing when I'm done. And I know some of you will appreciate it. And if it doesn't ever happen to you, well, count yourself lucky. You're a better crafter than I am. All right, let's set that aside to dry. Again, cap off my paints. can hear it. I have a woodpecker that is pecking on the downspouts, you know, the drainage pipes. Looking for bugs. Looking for bugs in all the wrong places. Okay, so while that is drying, I'm going to take my glue gun. Oops, sorry if I bumped the camera. I got too many cords. I only have one plug over there that's obviously close enough for me to be able to use it. Oh, glue gun, how I hate your strings and your mess. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to make this a paper clip. I don't know if I'll make it a hidden paper clip off the top, but I will make it a paper clip. Dropsy. I'm trying to just see if I can find something that I can gently, being the operative word. Never mind. Yeah, that's not going to really work. So, there's that. This one looks like it's dry enough for me to do my next step, which is to take this floral wire, and I cut it long at first, just so I know I have plenty of play. Make sure I have an opening, again, which is why it makes it a lot easier if you don't really close that too tight. But there's my end. There's my end. There we go. I just stick it all up in there and get some glue on it, and then shove it in the bottom as best you can. Like I said, there. I try to mash my petals out a little bit more. It just takes manipulation, folks. Just some manipulation. And if you're more patient than I am and not doing this on screen, you probably, flowers might look a little bit better. Oops, boy, that's loud. And then I'm going to maybe stick it back here. Nope. There. Gosh, sorry. Sorry, people. Don't mean for it to be so loud. There's another one. I'm gonna have to make them shorter. Make it really short so it goes down underneath there. Ooh, another hot flash. I apologize, people, for the fan noise, but I'll run it on high until I freeze, and then I turn it off. And this is my life. Man, I squashed it. Well, that's okay, because then I will unsquash it when the time is right. Get some hot glue on there. Probably should have made sure I had a hole before I did that. There. Hot glue, and try not to get everything into the hot glue as best as you can. Boy, hang on, let me wipe my hands off. Like I said, I don't buy baby wipes, well, because I don't want to spend the money on them. and I don't like the way they pill when you use them on things. At least the ones I have gotten. Maybe if I wanted to buy higher end diaper wipes, which again is the money. Alright, so clip this off. Very short, very short. And see if you can stick it in there. And I probably shouldn't have tried to save time by gluing part of it in before I was completely ready, because you know hot glue dries, well, hard. Yep, it dries really, really hard. All right, now let me fix my there it is. My flowers, my trumpet parts. And because it's not dry, I didn't wait for those to dry, you know, for sake of time. I already have to splice two together because I don't have pause feature on this. And I will fix that because it's going to drive me nuts. There we go. And you don't have to, because you know what? It actually looked fine without it. There. It's just me being me. Me being, I have a look that I want in my head, and I have to keep going until I find it. And, you know, that's how it goes. There you go. We're in there. All right. So there we have that part. And I'm going to unplug my little tiny glue gun. You know what? I'm not, because that shakes the camera. So I'm not going to. Just leave it. Just leave it. Leave it, leave it, leave it. Get this out of the way because I will spill that. Alright, so, and one more step I'm going to do. I am going to make it a little paper clip. I'm going to do a paper clip, and let's see if I have a piece of paper real quick that I can use. Yep. Oh, lots of paper. Lots and lots and lots of paper. I'll attempt to cut straight, which is never going to happen. I'm not making it a hidden, because quite frankly, I don't want to take time. And glue, 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 glue. Okay, I'm sorry I'm silent. I'm just concentrating and listening to the birds and the rain. There. Good. I thought for a second I put it on the front and I was going to absolutely just berate myself harshly. Alright, so there is that, and I'm sure it's already been a half an hour. This time flies when you're doing this. Let us see if I can. do just a little bit of glue. Just a little bit of lace. To give it a little bit of a, oh, here we go. All right. Shake and shake the ketchup bottle, and then it'll come, then a waddle. You hope. We hope. Right? Now it cracks me up that Kyung's, one of her Sugar Bell bottles is like completely taped up because I think she said she squeezed it till it popped. And I laughed because I don't have that kind of hand strength. Okay. Come on. I was trying to get that lace to stick to that and not my sticky fingers. All right, people. This is my video, my challenge. Challenge accepted. Oh, for crying sakes. Oh, fudge sticks up a fudge tree. Just stick where I want you to and straighten up and fly right. So here we go. Here's your altered paper clip. Here, I'll just use this for my last challenge. Altered paper clip with your foil. I just couldn't even think of the word. Foil flowers. Yes, they do really look like something out of a Dr. Seuss book to me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. As always, stay creative, my friends. If you like what you've seen, please hit the like button. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded something. Share it with your friends. And do leave a comment. That helps my little tiny channel get noticed. And thank you for joining me on this challenge of... Sorry, I'm still trying to say the challenge that Mitzi and I did. But Think Outside the Box Challenge with Tommy from Miss Paper Crafting with Miss Tommy and Rhoda Burks on YouTube, along with Kyung Shotwell, and Candace Johnson with Journal Me Crazy by Candace Johnson. I will have all those linked down below, at least their channels, if not the exact videos. And I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. Bye. Peace out.